So this happened yesterday. GoPro launched their brand new GoPro HERO6 and they hooked me up with one to check out. So in this video, we're going to go over the physical changes, have a look at what's changed, and then tomorrow I should have up a much more in-depth review where you check out a lot of the new features they're talking about, like better stabilization, automatic Quikstories, and cool things like that. But for right now, let's jump in and see what's changed. There it is, the GoPro HERO6. First impressions are that it looks basically the same as before. We can see we get the camera, the frame, the battery, a single mount, 2 adhesive sticky mounts, and a charging cable. And with the form factor being the same, it looks like it'll probably be using the same battery, which would be really, really nice. So let's dive into this thing and have a look. And then in here we have a battery, which is identical to the HERO5's battery, so that's a nice change. And then we've got a new USB Type-C cable, and this one actually looks like it's a Type 3 USB cable. If you have a look there on the inside, it definitely looks like it's blue, and there's all the extra pins in the back. Well, I found one of the old ones here. This is definitely a USB Type 2 connector. So the new one is a USB Type 3 to Type-C cable. So this thing's probably going to support much faster transfer speeds if you're using the camera to download footage. So you just plug in the camera directly into the computer to download footage. You're going to get much better transfer speeds with this than with an older one. And I wonder, maybe it's something to check out, if we can use this cable on the HERO5 and if that will improve our transfer speeds. All right, let's dive in. On top of the frame here, there's a new little arrow that wasn't on the old one, so a slightly redesigned frame, but not much to write home about. So far, the camera's looking very similar to the HERO5. We've got the same battery compartment on the bottom there with the same battery terminals. Let's slide that battery in there. Same micro USB slot on the side. Internals look identical. On the side here, we've got the same mini HDMI and USB Type-C ports. The only real difference that I can spot on this is the new HERO6 logo on the side of the lens there, where on the HERO5 it used to say, well, HERO5. But other than that, the two cameras look almost completely indistinguishable from each other. Oh, there's one. The mode button on the right-hand side of the camera now has a power symbol instead of a highlight tag symbol. But other than that, they look pretty much the same despite, well, the biggest difference being that my HERO5 looks beat right to crap. So there it is. There is the new GoPro HERO6. And if you guys have been around YouTube in the last couple days, you've probably seen their launch video. So it looks like what they're really pushing with this new camera is higher frame rate. So it does 4K 60 and it can do 1080p 240. Now it's 1080p 240 that I'm really excited about because that's going to allow you to really slow down some footage and get some buttery smooth slow motion. It can also do, I think it's 120 2.7K, so that's also going to be a really useful resolution for shooting some really slow motion shots. And then the next thing they're pushing is their Quikstories. So this is their way of trying to make it easy for people to shoot video and then immediately share it without ending up with this massive backup of just old, long, boring GoPro footage sitting on their computer that leads to people becoming bored with their camera because they don't know what to do with it and editing takes too long, is putting the GoPro on the shelf and not using it. So the idea here, it seems, is that using the onboard accelerometers and GPS along with some fancy image and analysis. They'll take all the footage you shoot with your camera and immediately transfer it onto your phone, and then your phone, using the GoPro app and Quikstories, will just take that footage and edit it into a very quick, very short story or short video clip that's easy to share and ready to go without you having to do anything. So I would imagine what they'll do is, if they get a moment where there's a great acceleration or deceleration, they measured a bunch of G-force with the camera, they'll assume that that was something interesting happening and they'll save that, and then probably what they'll do is they'll slow that bit of the shot down because they think, okay, something's happening very quickly, so this will be an area where we can slow it down and get some cool movement. But I'm going to check that out in the next couple days here to try and shoot some really, really awesome footage and just see what it can do automatically, because that, if they can manage to do that, where you just go out and you shoot a couple video clips here throughout the day, you come home, you turn your phone on, and it just automatically edits you a really interesting video clip, that would be awesome. And then the other thing they were really pushing was in-camera stabilization. They said their goal was to achieve something that looks similar to using a handheld gimbal. Now, you're probably never going to achieve that level of stabilization in camera, but even if you manage to do something that's half as good as that in camera, that's awesome, because taking this little guy with you is much, much easier than packing around a full-sized camera stabilizer. And that, if you shoot with this, it's just a little thing you don't even think about when you go shooting. If you shoot with a gimbal, you are a camera operator and you're definitely there to shoot video footage. Taking around a gimbal is another few pounds, another thing to charge. It's another thing to worry about taking with you. It's something that isn't waterproof all the time, so it is a little bit of a pain. I've really enjoyed the stabilization that came with the on board with the Hero 5, and I think it was able to really take my just handheld shooting up to another level, and I think that if they've managed to do something that's better with the Hero 6, that would be great. So I'm going to check those things out in the review. The things that I'm going to be looking at, and I'm planning to look at right now in the review, are the slow motion at probably 1080p 240, see what we can do with that. And then we'll check out the Quikstories and try and get an idea of how they're piecing together their edits. And finally, we'll check out the stabilization. We'll put it up against the Hero 5 as well as a handheld gimbal and just see where it comes out. So guys, make sure you subscribe and come back in the next day or two for the full review of the new GoPro Hero 6.